Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the happy shrimp. Super cute, adorable even. I think they turned out cute. They're kind of more like jumbo shrimp. But I already have my boy and my girl, so we're going to make another one. And band wise, I kind of did some alternating colors in here just to kind of give it a little bit, I don't know, different appearance or something. I like how it turned out, but you of course can use your own colors. I actually think that the jelly ones would look nice. The clear jelly and then like the pink jelly alternating to kind of give a shiny appearance like an actual shrimp. But I used, and what I'm going to use in the tutorial, 124 pink, there's 87 white, 24 fuchsia, 1 to 3 black bands for the face here, depending on if you use the 7mm pony beads for the eyes, and then black band for the mouth if that's what you want for that color, and your cheek bands. So, super cute. We'll get started. We'll start by making the face. This is on one loom, but we kind of start with making the top part on the hook, so it is one loom. I'll put these cuties over here. So for the eyes, I'm going to use the beads, but you can use a wrapped band for them as well. If you want to do a wrapped band, then it's just one band, whatever color you want for the eyes. Put it on your hook, wrap it around once into that figure 8. Grab both bands, wrap it around again, and then pull through the color that you want for the kind of the middle inside of your shrimp right there. So I'm using a pink and a white one. And I'll pull those through into the center. So then that would be a wrapped band eye band. And you'd want 2 of these. If you have the beads, you need to get them onto the bands. I use a 7mm bead, but you can use different sizes, of course. But I use a piece of craft wire, anything you can get into a V shape, so string, thread, or floss. Take 2 bands, put them down into the center, close it up, and then thread through the center of your bead. Pull your bead down to the middle, and then take out your tool. And then you have a beaded eye band. So you'd want 2 of those if you're going to use the beads. For the cheeks, they're made the same way as the eye band, wrapped band eye bands. It's one band, whatever color you want your cheek to be, on the hook, wrapped around once into that figure 8. Then grab both bands, wrap them around again, and then pull through 2 bands the color of your shrimp. Like that. So you want 2 of these. So first we start by making the little top portion on the hook. It does get a little squishy on the rainbow loom hook, so we'll kind of move one up the hook a little ways. If you have the latch hook, it would probably be much easier to make it on here. So I'll do it on here. I just used pink for the top, but it is 3 bands on the hook, wrapped around one time. Then 3 more bands pulled through, back on the hook. 3 more bands pulled through, back on the hook. And then 2 bands on the hook, doubled. And then you pull that through, back on the hook. So that is one of the little tail pieces. And then I'm going to slide this one down. It's a little tight, but slide it down on the hook so it's out of the way. And we're going to do that same thing 2 more times. So 3 bands on the hook, wrapped around, pull through 3 bands, pull through 3 more, and then 2 bands, doubled, and pull them through. So I have 2, and I need 1 more. 3 bands, doubled, pull through 3. It's a little squishy now on the hook, so you can move these down too, but Then pull through 3 more. And then 2 on the hook, doubled, and pull through, back on the hook. Sometimes the cap bands get a little, one band gets pulled tight, so then it kind of looks off, but we fix that later. So now you have all 3 of these. Slide them down to the end here. And then I took 4 bands, put them on the end of my hook. And if I face my hook down towards my tails and pull them through, they slide on pretty easily. Like that. So don't put it back on your hook yet, if you can manage it, I guess. You want to get your loom. I have the wrong end facing towards me. I'm going to kind of go up towards the center because we do expand either way a little bit. So I still have this. I'm going to just take it and go straight across, kind of in the center of my loom. Like that. I'll kind of give a tug this way, just because I'm trying to center it on the bands more. So like that. So now, get your bands for, we're going to start the kind of filling color. Like I said, I used a pink and a white. And it's technically 4 bands, so if you're using the same color, just put 4 bands across right now, but I'm going to use 2 different colors, so I'm just kind of going to put it over the top of my little tail so that I don't have to dig them out later. We're kind of putting it right on top like a fishtail. And then with 2 more. So what you end up with is the 4 bands underneath from our tail, and then the next 4 pieces from kind of the shell part. So now we'll flip the bottom 4 over the top. And make sure that stays up. Push these down, and then what you want to do is grab the top 2 bands. It doesn't necessarily matter if they're across from each other, if they got kind of looped or anything like that, or switch positions as they went across. But just grab the top 2 from one side and bring them up a pin, and then grab the top 2 from the other side and bring those up a pin. So look like this now. I'll kind of put this in the center. Push those down again. So now we're going to do a row around the 4 pins, 2 bands, all the way around. Like that. Then you'll flip the bottom 2 bands all the way around. Push your bands down. Another row the same way. 2 bands all the way around. Like that. Flip the bottom 4 on all the pins. Push your bands down. Another row the same way. 2 bands all the way around. Like that, and flip the bottom 4. Push your bands down. And now comes probably the only truly annoying part of this design. The little stripes in the shell are wrapped bands that we put on kind of like the mouth, if you're familiar with my designs. So to do that, I'm going to actually use a latch hook, so it'll be a little bit quicker for me to do in the tutorial, but you can still use your rainbow loom hook. And how we make the wrapped bands is we want to put one on each pin that we have, so it'll be 4 bands. But it's 1 band on your hook, wrapped around once, and then grab 1 band and wrap around again. So you have 3, looks like 3 bands. And I'll need 4 of those. Like that. So what I'll do is I'll take my hook and I'll grab all the bands that are on this pin, lift them up, slide down one of my wrapped bands, and then put the bands back onto the pin. And I'll do that for all 4 pins. Just make sure you don't let go of your bands from your hook until you're sure that you have them all on the pin again. Sorry if I'm in your way there. So now I have them all on, those 4 pins. So now what we're going to do is expand, and how we're going to do that is up here in this top right corner. We're going to pick up the top 2 bands, and these should be coming from the left pin over here. If I tug on them I can see, and they're just going to come to the center here. And then coming down to this left corner, I'm going to grab all 4 bands that are on this pin and bring them down to the pin below. Then the top 2 bands I'm going to bring back to the pin we just took them off of. And I can tell that these are attached to this upper pin right here. At least I don't want any crossing. I don't know why I keep bringing it over here, but I actually want this over here. Sorry about that. Because we want to have the hexagon. So I had it here, bring it back over here. I think I'm used to making other designs. So, hexagon, like so. So now what we're going to do is some half rows. So it'll still be 2 bands for the whole thing. And we're going to start on this side here and come around and stop at this pin. So there won't be any bands back here on the kind of the back end of our shrimp here. So 2 bands there. And bring it around to here. So look like that. Then we're just going to flip the bands that are on these 3 pins right here. So there'll be 2 on this pin and 2 on this pin from the expanding, and then 4 on this corner. Then push your bands down. You'll do another half row just like we did. Starting over here and go around to the other side. Like that. And again, just these front 3 pins, maybe the bottom 4 to flip over. Like that. Push your bands down. And then we're going to do a row all the way around with the 2 bands. It's actually the second time I'm filming this because my camera decided to quit, or my camera has an issue with it acts like it's filming. The numbers keep moving and all that good stuff, and then when I go to hit stop, it doesn't actually close the video. So like that. So on these pins back here, it's going to be the 4 bands from the half row, and then the 4 bands from the row before, leaving 4 bands on the pin. There'll be 4 bands on the front 3 here. Then back here, it's going to be the 4 bands from the half row, and then 2 bands because we did some expanding. And then back here it'll be the 2 bands again. Push your pins down, push your bands down on your pin. I did that same thing with moving the band there, so I thought that was funny. So again, we're going to do the not so fun part. We're going to do the wrapped bands. So this time we will need 6 of them. So on the hook, wrap it around once and twice, and you'll need 6. And just do the same thing we did before. Yeah, my camera can be a pain sometimes. Like if it would tell me that it's quitting, or give me a little beep or something to say, hey, I'm not filming you anymore, or this whole file is going to be corrupt now, but it doesn't do that. It likes to make me pretend it's filming, paying attention to me. I was excited too because I finished it all in one go, so I wouldn't have much editing to do, but it just wasn't meant to be. But oh well. Now I have more cute shrimp. That. Push your bands down, so you should have a wrapped band on all of the pins now. Alright, so we're going to basically kind of repeat what we just did. Do half row in the front with the 2 bands. Like that. Then just flip the front 3. That'll be 4 bands on each pin. Push those down. Another half row. Like that, and again flip the front 3. Push your bands down, then a row all the way around with the 2 bands. Like that. So now we will have 4 bands on this pin from the half rows, and then 4 bands below, 4 bands around the front, And back here be the 4 bands, and then 4 on the bottom. And back here will be the 4 bands too. So push your bands down, and we're going to do another row of the wrapped bands. So again, we'll need 6 of them. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So put those on as well. It's kind of funny because I'm not really a fish person. I've tried very hard to be, particularly because a lot of it is good for you, and my husband loves fish. He has sushi, makes his own sushi. It's he definitely loves fish. So I've tried just about everything that he's made. And there are a few that I can kind of eat through, like some tuna and salmon, depending on how it's cooked. Some ways I can't eat it. I don't like to be a picky person, so it really stinks that, I don't know if it's a texture thing or what, but it kind of makes me want to gag when I eat it. So I feel kind of bad for him because he definitely enjoys it, so we always try and compromise. I at least try it, and he doesn't force me. Because it's, I think it's kind of weird because I think it stems from like, when I was in elementary school, eating a fish sandwich, or fish fillet sandwich, and as I was eating it, took a bite, and then there was like all these scales in the sandwich, and ever since then I've like terrified to eat fish. I think it's just some silly thing that happened when I was a kid, so now it's like I always wonder what's in the fish and what I'm eating, and I mean, even if it's just a fillet that I can see that has no scales on it, I'm still like, I can't eat it. Alright, so I have all of the wrapped bands around the 6 pins, and now we're going to increase. So how we're going to do that is first we're going to come back here, grab these 4 bands that are on this pin, and we're just going to lift them up and pull them back. And then on this pin right here, on the kind of top right, you'll grab the top 2 bands, lift those up, and I can see that they're coming from this pin up here, which is where I want them to. I'm going to bring this up to here. To look like that. Then on this side, we're going to shift up some of the bands. So the bands that are on this pin right here, I'm going to lift all those up and bring them up a pin. And then on this pin down here, should be able to lift up the top 2 bands and bring them back. When you lift it up, you should be able to see that they come from this pin up here. And I'll put those back here. And the other bands that I'm leaving on this pin, they come around and go to this pin. So there's no crossing right here. So now we're on 8 pins. So now we are going to do our eye row, cheek row, and eventually mouth row. But these are going to be half rows. So our half row is going to go from this pin all the way around to the pin back here. So there won't be any bands back here behind, on the behind area. So I'll start with 2 bands back here, then 2 bands, and then our eyes are going to go in the front. Right there. And then 2 bands in the next 2 spots. So now we're going to flip the front 5 here. When we flip, we're not going to do anything with these back corners. So right here will be 2, and then 2 again, 4 in the front between the eyes, 4 right here, and 2. Push those down. Another half row, but it's going to be with our cheeks. So I'll start back here with the 2 bands. And then when we get to here, we need our cheeks. Just throwing stuff all over. 2. And the other cheek. And then 2 bands. The next 2 spots. Like that. So we'll have, again, we're flipping on the front 5 here. So that'll be 4, 4, 4, and 4. Like that. Push the bands down. Now we're going to add our mouth. So whatever color you want for the mouth, you'll take that band, put it on your hook, wrap it around 1 time into that figure 8, and then on the pin right here that's between the eyes and the cheeks, you go ahead and lift up all those bands and slide down your mouth band, and then put the bands back on the pin. Like that. Now we're going to do a row all the way around, alternating the colors, or I guess that's how I'm doing it. But to row all the way around. Like that. So then for flipping, you'll have the 4 on this pin back here. You have the 4 from the half rows, and then the 4 below, and then 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 again. Then you'll have the 4 from the half rows, and then 2, and then back here there'll be 4. Unstuck. Alright, and so we're going to put on our last row of wrapped bands. This time we need 8 of them. Get those on. That. So again, just lift up the bands and slide down your wrapped band. I think my real issue with seafood comes from things that have faces, or I guess have shells. I guess they all have faces, but that have shells, like lobster, crab, shrimp. I know I'm missing out on, or at least everybody tells me I'm missing out on a lot of things, but something about the faces. Especially when they serve it to you with the face. That's really hard. Or maybe because they like remind me of bugs. Or beetles or something. If you love fish and can eat it, more power to you. Man, there's just certain shellfish and Something about it. Like there's that picture on the internet of that giant like sea bug or whatever it is. I can't even remember what they called it, but it's like my nightmare of what all fish looks like. Or all shellfish stuff. I just imagine that trying to crawl on me. Nope. Last one. Like that. Just make sure your bands are pushed down. Then we're going to do a row all the way around with the 2 bands. Usually when I make something, I'll run it by my husband and ask him what he thinks, if it looks good. Or usually I go hold up something and go, what is it? And sometimes they'll look at me and just kind of go, it's awesome, whatever it is. So then I know I usually have to go back to the drawing board. So band all the way around, and then you'll flip the bottom 4 bands. So it's like, I usually have better luck with my kids knowing exactly what I've made, but hubby's a little bit analytical, like statistics and facts and things that he can see, whereas I'm kind of the total opposite. I mean, I'm kind of both ways, but I will say that when I showed him this, he was like, it's totally a shrimp. I was like, yes. Another row all the way around. So hopefully you agree too that it's a shrimp. I kind of want to make a bunch of these and put them on my fingers because it reminds me of the movie Beetlejuice, where it's got like that shrimpy looking hand. And so roll all the way around and then flip the bottom 4. Put them on my fingers and run around. There's a few times that I've been told that I'm too old to be playing with Rainbow Loom and doing the crafting stuff that I do. And I was thinking about that and I'm like, well, what do you want to do when you get older then? If I'm too old, don't you want to be able to still enjoy the crafting things? So like that, and one more row all the way around. I'm very lucky to be able to craft and enjoy it. I think that kind of came out of the blue, or it might seem like they came out of the blue, or thought that came out of the blue, but it was actually kind of the train of thought from watching Beetlejuice when I was younger. I'm going to the old thing, yeah. So anyways, row around, flip the bottom 4 all the way around. There's always a method to my madness or my conversations, just that sometimes you don't get to know what they are. I don't think you're ever too old to craft or to do something you enjoy. So like that. So now we are ready to close. And we're going to do that. I'm going to use my latch hook just because it's easier. You can still use the Rainbow Loom hook. I think that'll all fit on there pretty well. Otherwise you can make a long threading band of just slip knotting bands together and weaving them up through and then closing it. I'm just going to take my hook, start in the back, and grab all the bands around. And I kind of make sure to hold on back here. They're on there pretty good, but just in case. That. And 2 bands on the hook. Pull them through. Both ends on. Make your slip knot. And then kind of flatten out the bottom a little bit before I close tight. Then I'll take my hook, come up through somewhere in the back or side of the shrimp, up by my tie bands. Grab both of them and pull them inside. I snag something else, or some things else, more than one. Come in. I'm just not having very much luck getting that in there. Go in there. Like so. So, happy shrimp. Jumbo shrimp. I think they're awesome. You can give them a little tug if you need to kind of stretch out anything. And then if you have any issues with the rows kind of getting tucked inside along your design, just take your hook, go in through, snag them, and just kind of pull them up. And that'll make them pop out more. If there are any that are tucked inside, or maybe only like one band is kind of showing, but you want it to have kind of a thicker line, so you want all 3 bands showing. Just pull that out. Super awesome. And I have 3 adorable shrimp. I kind of like how they sit. I'll have to rotate these to the back a little bit. Like that. So I hope that you think that they are adorable. If you make any of these cuties, I would love for you to share them with me on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy or Crafting Fantastic. They will both find me on there if you search, or there's links beneath the video. And subscribing to my channel so you know when I come out with new awesome things, whatever that may be. That would be fantastic. But I hope that you enjoyed these, and I will definitely have more for you soon. Thank you very much for watching. Happy looming.